Welcome again, my history lovers, and it's your man Malek Smith. Guys, go and check out my YouTube channel. Make sure subscribe, like, and comment. Hit the notification bell so each and every time I'll be posting my videos, you're gonna be notified, guys. And today, guys, we are going to jump right away to one continent. It's not talked about a lot, Europa. Yeah, so Europe is one of continent that's what comes to your mind when you hear the word Europe. And many will say good high education where you can go and acquire your degree or masters. There's good roads, high-speed trains. There's all these football, Premier Leagues, and all that, and good paying jobs and wages for people who work there. If you want to work there, if you want to go there and work. Actually, Europe is regarded as land of milk and honey, but Europe wasn't like that before, because Europe went through a lot by the invasion of the Ottoman Empire, the Mongolian Empire. It went through First World War, the Second World War, when Hitler invaded his neighboring nation and actually killed a lot, millions and millions of people in his neighboring countries. And you're going to look at this specific nation by the name Romania in eastern part of Europe. And actually, Romania actually was ruled by this dictator by the name Nicolae Ceausescu and his wife Elena Ceausescu. And actually, he had ruled this nation for 24 years with ruthless or iron fist style of ruling. Actually, he killed a lot of people. He led a lot of people behind bars, and people drew a lot, and actually destroyed the economy of this nation, guys. So it's 1989 in December 21st, and actually, Nicolae Ceausescu is about to be overthrown by his people, or by the population of Romania at that time that he was ruling. And it's 1989 in the western part of the country, and there's this small city called by the name Timișoara. Timișoara is actually bordering Hungary and Serbia. And this time there's a local priest who have just a small protest against this dictator, and he's protesting against his rule, the way he's ruling the country, the way people cannot access basic need. Actually, the country, the economy is everything is crashing, and everything is not going the way the people want. So this priest or local priest got the guts to call the protest and protest against the dictator. Actually, what happened, the dictator heard about this and actually sent his military and his secretary police who were used to control his leadership. He had two forces. Like, he had the secretary police who protected his dictatorship so he can rule or can stay in power for years and years until he dies. You know how the dictatorship, they protect their ruling or their leadership. Yeah, they have to have their force that protecting them so that they can stay loyal, or they can stay in the leadership for years and years and rule with these iron fists. So because they know no one's like them, no one likes their I'll say what their policies. No one is to their policies. So he had this secretary police who used to protect his dictatorship, and he can stay for authority for years. And he had the army that was protecting the country. So he ordered the army and the secretary police to go and crash to this protest that actually happened, killing 50 of 670 Romanian citizens. And actually, as you know, a country that's led by a dictator, the media is 100% controlled. Actually, everything is controlled by this authority or this dictatorship. So he used to control everything in the country. And actually, it's happened in this protest. He killed 70 Romanians. And actually, in that evening, the news spread by the word of mouth. As I told you, the media was 100% controlled. Actually, the media was loyal to this dictator. So nothing was going outside. Nothing was going outside or was talked in the media against this dictator. So people spread the news by the word of mouth, that each and every city, each and every small and big, heard about this killing in Timișoara in the western part of Romania. Actually, what happened? The people went word and started uprising these big and small towns in Romania. And actually, people protested and uprising against this leadership. And when the dictator Nicolae Ceausescu heard about this, he called and biggest rally in Bucharest. Bucharest is the capital city of Romania. That's why he called this rally so that he can try to sell his propaganda to the people in the rest of the country that he's still in the power and is still in control, because he feared to be overthrown, and each and every dictator fears to be overthrown. So it's next day, 1989, 22nd of December, and actually he called this rally, and actually people had to wait for him in this rally. He used to deliver his rallies in a big square called Paris Square. That's where all the people could come and gather to hear their leader, because he used to give this speech in a big balcony. And actually he was late for 5 hours, and the people ended up waiting for him for 5 hours. Actually he came, showed himself after 5 hours, and started giving this speech. And actually I would say he used to bring a big speakers in that square, because he knew people were not like into him. They were not like supporting his leadership. They were not supporting his dictatorship, because he ruled that country for 24 years with force. We killed a lot of people. He ended up putting people behind bars, and people were living in jails and all that. So no one liked his dictatorship. And actually the people who came to rally were forced to come. He called his army and secretary police to force the people to come to rally and listen to him. So he comes and started giving this speech. And when he was giving the speech, there was big speaker that he used to put in the square, so that he can, with the pre-recorded audio of people cheering, because he knew the people were not cheering. They were standing still in that rally. So the people were not into him. They didn't like about anything to do with him. So only the people who were sitting there, they were in the front row, that were kind of loyal. But there are some who are loyal. There few were lawyers, but most of people in Romania didn't like about his leadership. So he used to bring these big speakers and put the recorded audio about people cheering in before rally, when he was loved, because when he started his leadership, he was loved a lot. But as years went, people started hating his leadership. So these speakers could blast people cheering, but the people in the rally were still standing still. So, and the reason for this, he wanted to sell the propaganda to those people who were still in the village, who could not access his rally, who watched his rally in TV or listened to his rally in radio, so that they can hear the people are still cheering their leader, so that he can sell his propaganda all over the country. At the time, Romania had 24 million people. Yeah, so he started giving this speech, and in 8 minutes of the speech, actually, there's some people back at the back of the rally started shouting, Timișoara, Timișoara. As I told you, Timișoara is the city that started all these protests by a local priest. Yeah, and actually it happened, 70 people were killed. So the shouting started to go louder and louder. Timișoara, Timișoara, and the crowd started going wild. They started to storm the barriers where the police had barricaded the building where this dictator was giving speech. But few minutes later, he managed to cool down the crowd and the people, and actually the people they calmed down, they came down, or everyone was, he managed to cool them down. Yeah, I would say. So he ended up giving his speech, and everything was okay. He gave his speech until the end. He told the people about the good wages, the increase of pension, increase of wages, new jobs, new factory, new investments in the people. But no one was buying that. People were like, we are tired. FUSCK YOU. They actually didn't like about him. So he gave the speech, and actually the speech was over. So he went back to the building, the Central Committee building, where he used to meet with his communism members or leaders. Yeah, because he had the leaders who were backing his dictatorship. Yeah, who were loyal to him. So, but what happened? The people didn't leave the square, or the people didn't leave Bucharest, because at the time, there was over 90,000 people that came to that rally, and actually they didn't leave until the evening. Until the evening, still in the night was still there, and actually at the night they were the world. They started protesting and storming the building where the dictator was. Actually, dictators fearing to be killed or to be overthrown, he requested the army and the secretary police to go wild and to crash on these protesters the way they could, shoot at them and everything. Actually, a lot of people were killed that night. Yeah, a lot of people were killed, and the next morning, body could be seen lying everywhere in the square in the capital city, and actually blood was everywhere. Actually, the blood had to be hosed by water cannons in the streets, try to kill in the streets because everywhere was blood. And actually, when people heard about this, the dictator was like cool and said, "Oh, this is over. I think I used my force to disperse this crowd, and actually the uprising have come down." But what did he know? The uprising had not come down. Yeah. So the next day, the next morning, after the night of the crashes, the protests, and the killing, the people came from each and every corner of the country. The workers, the factory workers, everyone came to the capital city with all the force, and started now protesting for Rina, started storming the building where he had a meeting with communist leaders who were ruling the country at the time. So they started storming this building. They managed to storm through the police barriers. And actually, what happened? The army joined the protest. So when Nikolai heard about that with his wife Elena, actually he called his private pilot to come with a helicopter to come and pick them in the balcony, not in the balcony, in the rooftop of that building. So because he knew that the protests have managed to enter the building and heading where they had the meeting, so he called the private pilot. He came with the helicopter in the rooftop. Actually, with the wife and the bodyguard, they ran, or they were carried, or the stories tell they were carried because they panicked a lot. They couldn't walk, so they had to be supported by bodyguards to the helicopter. And actually, they entered the helicopter. And actually, the helicopter overloaded. They could be seen trying to lift off, having difficulty in lifting off from the rooftop to try and evacuate this dictator to a safety place. So what happened? People stormed the building and everything, and actually Nicolae Ceausescu and Elena they managed to run away using this helicopter or using the rooftop area. So they went to the northern side city called Sinagov. Sinagov is a city just northern of Bucharest, the capital city of Romania. That's where they went to their residence, and actually he asked his maid to pack his small small clothes, or personal items that could land with them, because he knew that the country was against his leadership, and he knew that his end of ruling the country was over, and he knew that people wanted to take him and put him behind bars or kill him. So he had this panic. He wanted to run away from the country. He took everything that he had in that city. He had a big residence in Sinagov. I said the Sinagov is a northern city near the northern city of Bucharest. Yeah. So when he landed there, I actually called the military, commanders, tried to call for 2 helicopters to come and just to escort him with the helicopter that he had, but no one responded. Actually, he knew now he was by his own. So the pilots asked this dictator to take off, and actually they had to leave 2 bodyguards there because the helicopter was, as I told you, it was over to try to lighten the helicopter because the helicopter was kind of heavy. Yeah. So they took off again, and actually when they were now heading to a western city called Tito, and actually when they were in the air, they had a radio demanding each and every aircraft to land, because anything that was flying at the time was a threat of shutdown. So what happened? The pilot asked the Nicolae Ceausescu to land in a nearest area. So they happened to land in this highway or this road near the middle of Bucharest and a city called Togaviste. So the city in the northern part of the Bucharest, the capital city of Romania. So they were dropped there by the pilot with 2 bodyguards and his wife Elena. Actually, pilot took off and went. So they were left there by the pilot, and actually Nicolae Ceausescu, they stayed in the road waiting for anyone to come. And actually, a bicycle mechanic came with his car, and actually they had managed to kind of hijack, and they requested the driver to take them to this city called Tagaviste. You gotta bear with me. The Romanians words are not. I'm not very familiar with them. So this mechanic driver actually drove them to the city of Tagaviste, and actually requested them to. They took him. This driver took them in the city of Tagaviste, and actually in the road they could hear in the radio the news how the uprising is successful. They listened with the horror about this uprising that is taking place in the country. Nicolae Ceausescu couldn't believe. And actually, the driver, when he reached Tagaviste, the city in northern area, requested them to hide in an agriculture institute where they could hide for some days, and before they get their rescue. But actually, he gave them to one of the director of that agriculture institute, and actually the agriculture institute showed them and locked them in a room. Actually, he gave them up to the local police. Actually, the local police came and arrested them. And actually, the next day they were taken to the nearest military barracks, in that city. So when they're taken military barracks, actually the trial started, because now they were in the hands of the police or the army, and that's actually the country had been taken by a new government, and this new government had promised the people they will put this dictator in trial. So that's where the trial started. Actually, it didn't take for 2 days. The trial started. They were arrested. After 2 days, the trial started in that military barracks, and they were accused of genocide. They were accused of trying to steal the money, $1 billion from foreign banks, and try to run away with it. And they were accused of a lot of things. They were accused of destroying the economy of Romania. And actually, Nicolae Ceausescu tried to appeal, but there were no appeal. They were told there's nothing to appeal there. And actually, the sentence was death by the finest court. Actually, the execution was to happen right away. And actually, they were taken out of the building with the two firing squad, and they were shot at and killed. And that was the end of Nicolae Ceausescu dictatorship. And actually, it was broadcasted live on television when they were killed. That's the story of today, guys. I'll be bringing more about to do with the revolution and a story about each and every nation, each and every part of the world, the history of the world back in days and the present.